Hi, I'm Mephisto, and this is my Ancients Barbarian playthrough. What's Ancients Barbarian playthrough? In each of the Diablo difficulties I play a build inspired by each of the three Ancient Barbarians. In Normal I'm Madawc with throwing weapons, in Nightmare I'm Talic with Whirlwind, and in Hell I'm Korlic with leap and leap attack. For this playthrough I decided to go back to BTDiablo because it's been a while since I played it and there are some new and really interesting features added. One thing I did for this particular run is I took several magic find potions, because usually BTDiablo starts with minus 199 magic find, and the result of this is that in normal difficulty there are rarely any magic drops, only rings, amulets, charms, etc. The rest is just base items, and this makes the build, the early part, a little boring, so I decided to take those several magic find potions to use for the boss fights. Now this is the initial setup. Early on I tried to play higher player difficulty as much as possible, as the throwing weapons have really nice throw damage. As you can see, I'm pumping mostly throwing, mastery for the replenished life, for the replenished quantity, for the not consuming quantity, and its nice benefits. The Countess was rather generous. I think I spent only a few runs here until I got my stealth armor. I could have even been a bit quicker had I remembered to downgrade my runes, so maybe I could have spared one Countess run. I think it took me something like 20 minutes for the Barbarian, which is I find to be okay. And at level 16 I went to fight an Andariel. For the Andariel fight I took the magic find potion and my damage was pretty high. I managed to kill her rather quickly. Nothing too interesting with the drop, some rare items. This cap was a really nice double resist with some faster hit recovery. The Act 2 balanced axes provided yet another decent upgrade of my throwing damage, and I was able to take down Duriel reasonably as well. You can see just under 10 minutes, which for normal Duriel seems the norm. One thing really interesting that Duriel dropped these light gauntlets are Errata's gauntlets, which are upgraded in BTDiablo, and they provide a little damage, a little life, and basically this is the reason that makes me want to have some magic find. During this run I reset my timer a few times, so over here I had 2.5 hours. This is a quick gear check, basically stealth, my imbue balanced axe, boots from Andairel, and a couple of charms. That's all. Here are my stats, level 24, this should be somewhere in the middle of Act 3, a lot of throwing mastery and 1 point wonders. In Durance of Hate I felt too powerful. You can see I have already drunk a magic find potion, and what a surprise when I got to Mephisto and he decided to send a single lightning and just kill me right away with minus 14 light res. On the second attempt I was way more cautious. This was another magic find potion. Unfortunately the loot was nothing too special. My normal Hellforge was a bit unfortunate. I got no rubies and I wanted to get a perfect ruby so I can craft myself blood gloves for some crushing blow. So I went back to Act 1 and started checking the closed waypoints shrines to find gem shrines where I can upgrade the rubies I got. I think that took me like 10 minutes. A pair of gloves that turned out to be pretty decent with 9% chance of crushing blow. With this crushing blow the Diablo fight was pretty smooth. There was a big difference between Duriel, Mephisto and Diablo on the other hand. Like I was so impressed, so carried away by the speed that Diablo felt that I even forgot to drink my Magic Find potion and to use my Magic Find gear, so no drop from Diablo. Saving Anya is the next interesting part in my run. I intentionally waited until I got level 30, so I had the chance to get +1 to all barbarian skills. For the Ancients I was a bit uncautious. I was ready to fight them even with Fanaticism aura on, and I paid the ultimate price. So the Ancients mastered me and took me down. On the second attempt I was more cautious. I chose a specific aura, so it's not Fanaticism, and I was able to get through the Ancients. At level 30 I went back to Anya and checked the helm. Unfortunately not one barbarian skill level, but one masteries was also nice for me, as my build was mainly combat masteries. These are my stats just before the Baal fight. Again with crushing blow from my gloves, with my Magic Find gear, with a Magic Find potion, I was able to take Baal just around 5 hours. That's my speed running. After Baal at level 31 I was really optimistic for the Nightmare run, and I Respect into Talic with Sword, Shield and Whirlwind. During my normal run I did not get any interesting weapon, so this is the Crystal Sword I was able to buy with several attempts, and I really expect to go pretty smooth through at least Act 1, and what a surprise, I went out of town and the monsters was just not dying. So it turned out I overestimated the buffs that BTDiablo provides to weapons and Whirlwind. So the first part of my Nightmare run was really rough. It took me a while to find a decent weapon to upgrade to improve my damage. Almost an hour late I got this Dimensional Blade, and I decided to go ahead as fast as possible for my Imbue, where I got this sword that was really nice upgrade with the mana stolen per hit. I buffed my damage significantly. Another quick gear check. I started farming Countess so I can build myself a myth runeword. I really hoped to get myself a hustle runeword as well. So this was my Hell rune. Then Andariel dropped me an aim rune, and I was able to build myself a myth runeword with 2 Barbarian all skills. So that's my Andariel drop. After that I continued farming and I got a magical dimensional blade that I was able to craft, which was another damage buff, and this is the moment in time when I was able to up the player count. I went forward with Act 2. As you can see, this is almost 9 hours into the run total time. The Duriel fight was okay, nothing too special. I was almost able to keep my mercenary alive, and I was able to move forward to Act 3. In Act 3 I expected a bit more from the Travincal members. The fight was okay, my damage was really nice, and I was able to handle them rather quickly and headed into my Mephisto fight. The biggest benefit of the Talic build was the shield, the rhyme shield that provided me with cannot be frozen. Also the magic find and gold find are nice additions, but the cannot be frozen is really valuable for my build, for my melee build. At this point in Nightmare I was already buying myself the magic find potions, so I was no longer relying on having them in my shared stash. So all the boss fights, all the interesting moments when I expected, where I wanted a bit of magic find, I was able to get a magic find potion and bump my magic find to expect better loot. This is my Mephisto fight. I even gave it to my mercenary, who also had some magic find that stacks on top of mine. During one of my Andariel runs I was able to find this Hexfire, which was another very nice damage upgrade. The Nightmare run was pretty quick, pretty fun. I was able to kill a lot of monsters at the same time with the AoE of Whirlwind. This is my Nightmare Hellforge. Nothing too special about the rune. Flawless Ruby was nice additions that I can use for further crafting. And moving forward to Nightmare Diablo, again Crushing Blow is the king with 104% magic find and like 50 more on the mercenary. I tried to get the best loot from Nightmare Diablo. The Barbed Club was a nice drop, but it just didn't fit my run. Next stop was Anya in Act 5. At this point I was around 12 hours of playtime. The helm she gave me was another point to masteries, a bit more life and a bit more light res. Next were the Ancients, where Talic decided to be immune to physical a couple of times. So I had to reroll not only the aura but Talic as well. So third time was a charm. I was able to finish the Ancients this time without deaths. So level 61. I'm just farming Travincal, probably players 5. I don't think I was able to get to players 8. I was able to hork myself a Headstriker, which was really nice drop, and again another improvement of my build damage. Last in Nightmare was the Baal fight, again pretty safe, over 2k life with my magic find gear, 54% magic find. I think even a bit more with the ring and amulet that I put just before killing him. Nothing too interesting from the drop. I expected my hell run to be a lot of jumping and skipping all the content, so I went into the terror zones so I can gain more levels while I had the AoE damage from Whirlwind. So like an hour I gained a few levels and I was ready to move forward with the final part of my run. I really hoped to create myself an obedience, so you can see level 71. This is my gear, crafted belt, crafted gloves, the helm from Anya, and this insight that I got in Nightmare Tower. Because in BTDiablo items show their item level, I was able to see that it was level 37, so Larzak provided 4 sockets and I got myself an insight in a Partizan base. As you can see, my hell run was jumping around, pushing the monsters with a leap, trying to kill any elites that stand by themselves, that have no aura. I even dared to save Cain, just pushing everything aside with leap, waiting for the portal and jumping straight to deckard Cain. I started farming Countess, looking for a core rune, also for a foul rune. I hoped either to get an obedience, poleaxe, or hustle armor, or even hustle weapon. On players 1, Countess was doable. Usually the biggest problem was other elites that share aura, but when there is just single elite, I was able to handle them as well. I got this strategy from Mekal, who is one of the best Diablo 2 speedrunners. I saw him jumping like this away from the monster, from a group of monsters, and using only the leap damage. When I felt tired of doing Countess runs, I switched back to moving forward, going to Andariel. My damage was pretty high because of the leap multiplier, the leap attack multiplier, so killing Andariel was not a problem. Nothing worth it as a drop from her, unfortunately. But this is the moment where I decided to try this group with concentration aura just after I went out of Act 2 and I died. Maggot Lair is the worst place, especially in BTDiablo. The narrow corridors don't allow me to jump very efficiently. My barbarian says all the time I can't do it, impossible. I was able to get to Act 3. There again a lot of auras, a lot of uniques, a lot of density. I decided to back it off once. Then level 3 was insane. This time I couldn't handle it. And the third time I got a good density, nice position of the uniques, so I was able to get myself the Staff of Kings and was able to move forward. Duriel by himself is just a breeze compared to Maggot Lair. I was trying to jump in front of him so he can make small steps and follow me, and I used the leap attack damage. Sagan's belt was a small upgrade to my build, and I was ready to jump through Act 3. Just before the Travincal fight I created myself a Hearth runeword, which was my source of cannot be frozen until the end of the game. For some reason I decided not to use my cannot be frozen helm. I still managed to get Mephisto. This was my last chance. At this point in Act 4 I had already abandoned the idea to get myself an obedience pole axe. I got only a foul rune but no co. It was too late for me to hope for that. The Chaos Sanctuary was expected, was tough as I expected. Infector of Souls was the worst, was the thing that took me the most time. Because of the fanatism aura I had to run away from them a lot. It took me like 7-8 minutes just for Infector of Souls. That took me more time than the Diablo fight itself. After the Diablo fight I gave another try to Hellforge. This time the density, the monster composition was favorable and I was able to kill Mephisto. Because he was cursed I had to push him like this and jump around him until my curse is over, then hit him once and continue the jumping. My Hellforge was generous with an rune that I downgraded and created myself a treachery. So I was full of resists. For the Ancients, yet another instance where I was too cocky and decided to fight them without having the Ancients waypoint, which as you will see in a moment turned out to be bad. So I had to do the jump of shame all the way from Ariad's Plateau to the Ancients Way. But because I had spent almost all of my gold on potions, I had to do that. With a better composition of the Ancients, I was able to separate them, to fight them one by one and get through the Ancients. For Talic I used the same strategy where I tried to jump in front of him and just use the leap attack damage instead of trying to hit him with the damage with the weapon. The Worldstone keep was pretty scary. These ghosts and these beetles, the aura. I'm really happy that at this point I had the treachery. My resists were almost maxed. Without it I don't think I would have survived. And in BTDiablo, Baal has company. These Pit Lords? Venom Lords? Pit Lords, okay. So I had to clean those first before I was able to start with Baal and his shadow, as in BTDiablo the shadow does not unspawn after going to town, but yet I was able to beat Baal. This is my gear, so the treachery, the inside and Hearth runewords, resists wherever possible. This run was a lot of fun. I think I spent more than 20 hours. Previous time I played with a Barbarian through BTDiablo, it was almost 30 hours. Pretty big improvement. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's been a while. It took me way more than I expected to finish the build, to finish the run, then to edit this video. I'll be really happy to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.